Welcome back to Toon Room. Today we're going to be asking ourselves an important question. Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? That's right. Today we're talking about SpongeBob. Why SpongeBob is more than a beloved cartoon. It's a full-blown cultural phenomenon. Kicking off the top reasons why SpongeBob has universal humor for all ages.
That's it! Patrick, your genius is showing.
Where?
It goes down in history as such a classic, such a really unique and different cartoon, really breaking the mold in a lot of ways. One of the things is the humor. One of the main reasons why SpongeBob has become such a cultural staple is its ability to appeal to both kids and adults. While it's primarily a kid show, obviously, the humor is layered in such a way that adults can enjoy it too. There's clever wordplay, innuendos, absurd situations, subtle references that go over kids' heads, but are appreciated by the parents as well. And this kind of dual labor of comedy makes the show timeless. I remember SpongeBob came out 1999. I was about 4 or 5 years old. Rewatching it now, years later, it holds up just as well. In some ways, I enjoy it just as much, if not more, due to some of those references, which we'll get into in a little bit. But a lot of the humor from the first 3 seasons reminds me quite a bit of Monty Python almost, so kind of bizarre, surreal humor. Aside from the puns and great visual gags, you got the close-ups, the live action sequences spliced throughout, always makes the jokes feel quite unique. This is elevated by the top-notch voice acting by the main cast. Each and every one of them, really got to give them their flowers. They're fantastic. I can't imagine those characters being voiced by anybody else and really pulling it off. You got to write good dialogue, but you need a solid performance to really sell it. And Tom Kenny is SpongeBob. Bill Fagerbakke is Patrick. Each and every character, I can't imagine anybody else really doing them justice. And a voice needs to fit the character well. You can look at the character design. You really got to put the soul into them when you hear them talk. And I got to say, every character nails it perfectly. And Patrick, even if he's not speaking, just Patrick screaming never ceases to crack me up every time. Our next category where SpongeBob really crushes it is the characters. You have memorable and relatable characters, likable characters, even when they're jerks. I gotta say, Mr. Krabs, super greedy, still lovable. Plankton, obviously he's the bad guy, he's mean, lovable. And Squidward, everybody's favorite lovable grouch. They're not all nice like SpongeBob, Patrick, or Sandy, but even when you have your jerk type characters, still very lovable, likable, and endearing. Obviously, SpongeBob features a cast of colorful, quirky characters that resonate with all different kinds of people. You have SpongeBob, the man himself. He's endlessly optimistic, energetic, he's lovable, relatable to anybody who's ever had an underdog spirit. He could be flipping burgers, seemingly a mundane job, but to him, it's the best thing in the world. He loves everybody, and he has his moments where he gets emotional. One that comes to mind when he strangles Mr. Krabs after Squidward is living with him, but all in all, SpongeBob, just really great character. Patrick, of course, you got the lovable, goofy best friend, carefree nature of friendship. He really embodies it, and he's always trying to help SpongeBob out. He's not the brightest guy, but to SpongeBob he is, and he's always just willing to help a lending hand. Even if it's misguided, he's trying his best. Next up, we have Squidward. Obviously, he's a grumpy character anybody could relate to in modern times. When he's frustrated, he's stressed out, he just wants to be left alone. I saw a really hard-hitting joke that when we were a kid, you start off as SpongeBob, a happy-go-lucky kid, then you grow up and you slowly turn into Squidward. And I think that's a great thing about these characters. There's a little SpongeBob in us and a little Squidward in all of us, just more or less depending on the day. Don't forget Annoy Squidward Day, of course. Next up, we have Mr. Krabs and Plankton. Obviously, they have a classic rivalry in the business world, a petty rivalry back and forth. Mr. Krabs is all about the greed. Plankton's all about chasing the glory and one-upping his nemesis. There's Sandy, there's Mrs. Puff, tons of others, but I just wanted to hit on the top 5 of the main core cast. Sandy's a good character too, but I got to admit, after the original 3 seasons in the movie, the newer seasons after that really kind of wrote her out, included her quite a bit less. Another thing that solidifies SpongeBob as a cartoon legend is the iconic catchphrases and memes.
I'm ready! I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm
course, everyone knows. Then you got Patrick that doesn't really have one specific catchphrase. They kind of gave him one in the beginning. He'd always walk in and say,
"Good morning, Krusty Crew."
That was kind of his season 1 catchphrase. Of course, you got Plankton saying,
"I went to college."
Another classic one. Then you got Patrick. He's kind of the master of not really catchphrases, but one-liners.
"Is mayonnaise an instrument? I thought you said weast. Wombology? The study of wombo?
And of course,
the inner machinations of my mind are an enigma."
Season 1 through 3 Patrick is just a classic. Pretty much every time he's on screen, he's going to deliver. These lines are used everywhere, from everyday conversations to social media to memes. Great SpongeBob meme culture. It's kept it relevant throughout all these years. SpongeBob has also had a huge impact on pop culture. It's become a symbol of modern pop culture. The show's influence stretches beyond TV. You had SpongeBob fashion, all the clothes, music, on social media. He was everywhere. People quoting SpongeBob all the time, films referencing SpongeBob, other TV shows. He's just become a staple. I would say SpongeBob quickly became this generation's Bugs Bunny or Mickey Mouse. You have the older cartoons, Popeye, Felix the Cat, the really big cartoon guys. SpongeBob is kind of up there. I'd say him, Shrek, a couple other really big characters of the late 90s, early 2000s, cartoon staple of that generation. Next up, we have the music. That's right, SpongeBob has had some bangers in its day. Jellyfish Jam in season 1. I'll put that on at the gym sometimes, just jam out to that. The SpongeBob theme song itself, equally iconic. A lot of the general music, like Mr. Krabs, he has his theme song of Drunken Sailor. Just really cool shanty kind of music, pirate kind of music. Of course, we'll have the Hawaiian music. Really kind of sets the scene for the show. It's always fun. The fun song with Plankton, legendary. And of course, you got to have Sweet Victory from Band Geek's epic. Ripped Pants from season 1 was another good one. Who can forget the Campfire song? Even the movie, the SpongeBob SquarePants movie, had Goofy Goober Rock. It had Goofy Goober Original One, Now That We're Men. That's like 3 really great songs. SpongeBob in the music department has always delivered quite a few good ones. Enduring popularity, that's right. SpongeBob has captured the hearts of many from its premiere in 1999 and in 2025, when we're currently recording this, it is still going strong. So even though it's been on the air since the late 90s, it still remains incredibly popular. It's had a long run, consistent output of new films, merchandise. The show's gone consistent. They have like 3 different spin-offs now. Personally, I'll go with the classic SpongeBob on the earlier seasons, but that's just me. And the fact that it's been lasting this long consistently, I think a lot of new generations of fans have come aboard while it's maintaining its charm throughout the years. Now, obviously, I will admit, after the first movie, the quality fell off quite a bit, but that's kind of a hard comparison. SpongeBob, I don't want to say peaked early, but the first 3 seasons in the movie, that was magic. That was like capturing lightning in a bottle. And even when Hillenburg came back to write in the later seasons, it was just really hard to capture that special magic of the first 3 seasons. Obviously, if you have a show going on for 25 plus years, if you look at The Simpsons and other long-running shows, if you're nearing such a long history, the quality will dip typically over such a long runtime. But I think it is good that SpongeBob has continued, because each new generation with kid can get to know SpongeBob. It's not going to be lost to time as some obscure show that had a couple really good seasons. No. Everybody knows SpongeBob. It continues. And me personally, I will gladly rewatch the first 3 seasons and the first movie any time of day, and I will enjoy them just as much as I did when I was a kid, if not more, when I'm older. The philosophical and absurdist elements. At its heart, SpongeBob is a ridiculous show with bizarre situations that somehow mirror the complexities of life. Even from the background characters, the random fish in Bikini Bottom, whether they're asking if
you just blowing from Stupid Town,
or if you're on your way to the
Big Doofus Convention. Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Just so many savage characters outside of the core cast. SpongeBob and Bikini Bottom, it seems like a microcosm of the real world. They're in this colorful undersea setting, but at the same time, it really is a miniature, a slightly exaggerated version of our real society, which I find very entertaining. And obviously, this isn't a super educational show in the traditional sense, but there's a surprising amount of depth in some of the episodes that reflect on human nature, whether it's about friendship, working together, personal growth. For example, I think SpongeBob really hits the nail on the head if you want to look at basic philosophy in life, finding the joy in the simple things. In a world filled with stress, SpongeBob's naive but positive perspective is a welcome escape. He could have fun blowing bubbles, jellyfishing, just hanging out with Patrick. He's always down for a good time and almost like a childlike quality. You're really just appreciating the little things in life and living each and every day to its fullest. And I gotta say, SpongeBob is a great comfort show. You know exactly what to expect from the characters. The interactions between them are fun. And one theme that was present in the earlier seasons that I liked was that Squidward actually would want to have fun with SpongeBob and Patrick. If you recall, some of the episodes that show this best, I think, are Idiot Box, Bubble Stand, The Snowball Effect. He sees SpongeBob and Patrick playing, and even though he's a grouch, they do make it look like fun. The paper was another one. SpongeBob's playing with the gum wrapper. He has to try it because SpongeBob makes it look like so much fun. So even though Squidward's a grump and he's usually annoyed by them, I think SpongeBob and Patrick could be so much fun that it could be infectious sometimes. Squidward even finds himself wanting to have fun along with them. And that just kind of goes to show the theme of positivity breeds positivity. You could be in a bad mood, but if one of your friends is so funny, he cracks a joke, he gets a laugh out of you anyway, even though you're not really in a happy mood. Another enjoyable theme is that Squidward really does like SpongeBob deep down, even though he won't usually admit it. And episodes that show this best are Fools in April, Dying for Pie, and Squidville, where in his heart of hearts, even though he pretends that he can't stand him, he usually can't stand him, kind of like that annoying younger sibling. They'll drive you nuts, but at the end of the day, he does still have an affinity for SpongeBob. He's fond of him, even though he drives him nuts. And I think adding that depth of humanity to Squidward is really kind of great. It's a fun dynamic. It's almost like Dennis the Menace and the neighbor. You know, he bothers him, but he does still like him deep down. And I think my favorite instance of Squidward having a soft spot for SpongeBob was in the Christmas special, Christmas Who. And it shows that deep down, he's a grouch, but Squidward still has a heart and he does still care for SpongeBob. Really great episode. One of my favorite Christmas specials of all time. SpongeBob has cross-generational appeal. That's right. Since SpongeBob has been around for so long, it's crossed multiple generations now. Parents who grew up watching SpongeBob are now introducing the show to their own kids, and this connection really strengthens its relevance as people of different ages can come together and they could bond over the experience of just watching a good show, having a couple laughs, having a good time. And watching classic SpongeBob as someone who's a little older now is fun because certain jokes are a little more mature that went over my head as a kid, I can kind of get and understand now. And again, there's subtlety. It's not beating over the head with it, so a kid wouldn't really pick up on it, but there are a lot of fun ones. And there are dozens throughout the first few seasons, but perhaps one of the most controversial could be found in season 3, the episode Midlife Crustacean. And I'll just let Patrick take it away from here.
I guess you're gonna miss the panty raid.
The what?
I said, I guess you're gonna miss the panty raid.
And I didn't fully grasp this one as a kid, but I watched it when I was a little older, in my teenage years. A little out of character, but definitely very funny. And funny thing is, I looked for this episode on Amazon. I couldn't find it. So I did a little digging, and apparently this episode got banned in recent years. I watched it a few years ago, went to rewatch it recently, can't find it. So you can find it on, I believe, YouTube or maybe certain DVDs, but will not find it on most streaming platforms now. SpongeBob is a merchandising powerhouse. That's right, SpongeBob is a juggernaut of merch, from toys to clothing to video games to even themed attractions like SpongeBob at Universal Studios. The franchise generates billions in merchandise sales. I remember when he got his own Thanksgiving Day parade float. Once you got a balloon, you know you've made it. And SpongeBob got that, I believe, probably in the early 2000s. He's had it for a while now. And the appeal of the characters and the world is so strong that it transcends just TV and extends into so many other products that people of all ages enjoy. Me personally, I had a ton of SpongeBob merch as a kid. In the early 2000s, it was like a phenomenon. That stuff was everywhere. It was on clothes, it was on toothpaste, food, snacks, lunchboxes, you name it. Especially around when the movie came out at the peak of its popularity, it was everywhere you looked, SpongeBob was there. There were a lot of great SpongeBob video games. Battle for Bikini Bottom was one of my favorites. Had a lot of fun playing that. A world of its own. The underwater world of Bikini Bottom is so rich and detailed that it feels like its own living, breathing universe. Over the years, fans have come to love the oceanic setting, its quirky mythology, and the diverse range of sea creatures that populate it. This unique, imaginative world building makes SpongeBob stand out among other cartoons. When you see those flower clouds, you instantly know what show you're watching. From the Hawaiian music to the tiki and tropical aesthetic, Hillenburg really created a world that feels special. And from pirate theme of the Krusty Krab to Squidward's Easter Island head, Bikini Bottom truly stands out of all the fictional cities in the cartoon world. Having their own Krabby Patties, their own food, their own sports like jellyfishing further expand the world. And they even have their unique curse words that tie into the ocean environment. From barnacles and tartar sauce to fish paste and deer Neptune. The scallops are birds, the boats are cars. They put a lot of effort and thought behind not only the characters but the environment itself, which in some ways feels like a character in its own right. In summary, SpongeBob SquarePants is a cultural phenomenon. It blends universal humor, relatable characters, and iconic moments into something that resonates across generations. Its lasting impact on pop culture, its broad appeal, and its ability to adapt to new trends while staying true to its roots have solidified its place in the hearts of fans around the world. It's not just a cartoon, it's a legacy that continues to influence and entertain. Well, that's all for today. Hit like if you love cartoons. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to tune in next time.